here's a man who is got only 52% in undergraduate degree trying to tell you how to succeed in life. And you have all chosen to be here, and let's make the next 15 minutes worth it. So I'm sure all of you came with one of these three things in your mind today. First one is the expectation of yourself or the expectation of someone else which they have on you. The second one is, the quiet pressure that builds up in your chest when you join college. And the third one is what I'm here to talk about. The question that arises in your mind but you are not ready to talk or ready to say it out loud. That is, who are you becoming? The question is not about what you're trying to achieve or what you're trying to build towards. It's who are you becoming in your daily life? That is the most important question that comes up in the mind of people in today's world. This is because what I've learned in the last 6 years of handling my school is, the becoming does not happen in milestones. They happen on a Tuesday morning. We Indians, we have this crazy obsession with checklists, the big milestones. Students will be knowing it. Get marks, get the rank, score a degree, and get an offer from a well-reputed company, hit the salary, and then the checklist starts once again. So this is how it has been going on for a long time in Indian culture. What I am trying to say is, this becoming, it happens in the margins. It does not happen on milestones. The obsession that we have with milestones is actually uncalled for. Let me tell you this with a series of stories. There's a student in my school, his name is Akash. I met him when he was in 9th standard about 3 years ago. So he sits in the first bench, he's very calm if you see him from outside, and the teachers have a name for him, a naughty kid. He's not dangerous or he does not disrupt the classes, but this name that the teachers have given for him, it travels with him from classroom to classroom. I did not, do a big workshop for him, or I did not hire someone to change his behavior, or I did not call his parents for a meeting or anything. Whenever I get a chance, I talk to him when he's in the corridor. I tell him, Thambi, see, you are a very capable student, obviously. You can do this, and you will definitely find out who you are supposed to be in this life. And then it happened, and every time I see him, I just stopped using the word naughty around him. I just stopped calling him that word. And a year later, 10th results came, he was one of the toppers. And now, last week, he has completed his 12th standard, and I am wondering if we are seeing the wrong things when we are seeing our kids or the next generation of people. Because obviously it was not the big milestones that decided how he turned out to be. It was the small conversations. Second, I would also like to tell you about my own story, because you must be wondering how a person with 52% is standing on stage like this. In all the 4 years, apologies to all the professors here, I was never inside the college. I participated in more than 50 competitions, inter-college competitions, debates, symposiums. I was never inside the college. My attendance was hardly 50%. Just the benchmark that we have to get. And that too, we normally get OD and all those things to attend exams. So what I did was, I learned most of my time in libraries. And I also learned through all the competitions. I was able to meet a lot of new people from different colleges who are in my field. And how this helped out? 4 years later, I was the only person from Tamil Nadu standing on a stage in Italy in an international conference. I was wondering when I was standing on that stage. So, a mark sheet that has actually averaged me out to be 52%, but the Italian organizers, they didn't see. So, Once again, this is what we have to see when we are talking about the kids. And the next story that I want to share is about my teachers. Normally, when I hire, I don't see for just qualifications. I see how the teachers are open to learning and how their attitude is. So normally we have the same process of trial classes, and while the trial classes goes on, the one thing that we normally see is how they are able to stand, or how they are able to stand in front of the kids when they ask a question that the teachers don't have answers for. Because that is what shows the true openness and true attitude of how a teacher is supposed to be. And then I do this. So we have this, one of the most unglamorous workshops or unglamorous training program for teachers. What I normally do is, for every single teacher who's joined my school, every morning they get a WhatsApp message. So every morning I wake up, good morning teachers. So today you are supposed to record this audio and send it back to me. So this is how we are training our teachers to speak better in English. Teachers who have found it really hard to form sentences, they stand in front of stage today, they stand in front of their classes today, and yes, they are still making mistakes, but they are able to form sentences and speak in English. That did not happen on a day of milestone. That did not happen today. It happened on every single day. These teachers have been making that effort to do. And finally, I would like to talk about my own journey of standing on a stage. It started with a classroom back when I was in grade 6, where I fumbled, and then inter-school competitions, inter-college competitions, and 2 international conferences, 2 TED Talks, and this is my 3rd one here. And as I think about it, I feel like the journey is not about the milestones once again. It is about the small things that happen on a daily basis in your life. So, a year ago, I was going through one of the hardest phases of my life. My son was separated from me, and I was very close to jumping off the ledge. I wanted to try something that will hold me anchored to this world. So I started scripting myself. So what I did was, I started writing daily affirmations. I know daily affirmations in keta odane vandu the immediate thought will be, so far you are making sense, and how come daily affirmations are going to help? I know. But the thing is, I started doing it every single day, and I also wanted to keep myself accountable. So what I did was, I started posting it online. And today, it's 438th day or so. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, we are already talking to ourselves. We have this habit of talking to ourselves before all the hard conversations that we have, before the things that, like makes us nervous, like how I'm right now on the stage. So this is how it happens. But once you start building yourself slowly, it will actually help you become a better person. That is what I'm trying to, tell you all here. So I was wondering, I was sitting with all these stories, and I was wondering how exactly, all these 4 stories build into a framework. And that is when I thought, there is actually a pattern here. There are, like a step of 5 actions that you all can do today, you all can start doing today, and you can actually, become a better person. First one is, start small. See the Tuesdays, which is one of the easiest things to do. Normally, as I was saying before, we all see only the milestones. Stop doing that. Yes, milestones are important, but you should also see the normal Tuesdays that happen in your life. Because, we remember the Mondays because we have Monday blues. We remember the Fridays because we go out with our friends. And we also obviously remember the weekends where we, like most of the times we sleep it off. But Tuesday is something that comes every week. Tuesday is like a built-in reminder. Every week it is coming, every week you are growing. And we normally don't see the simple conversations we have with people. We normally don't see the simple things that we still did even when we were not thinking to do it. So, the thing is, even those small actions, even those small conversations are important. They are the ones who actually build you up to those bigger milestones. The second one is something we actually, overlook. Curate your circle. We always have people, we always find people to stand with us on a stage. We always find people to stand with us on a graduation photo, But we never talk about the people who is there with us in one of the most mockiest conversation in our dormitories. Every single morning, every single night before we go to sleep, those are the people who actually help you grow better. Not just the people who are going to stay with you on the milestones. The third thing is show up small. I know people who join colleges like this, you were told to think big, do big things, take big actions, and then finally I am telling you, show up small, which is not even a TEDx material, yes. But still, I would like to stress, show up small because consistency is always better than the motivation, consistency is always better than the intensity. Whatever actions you take, whatever minimum viable habits you do every day, that is what builds you towards success. The fourth one is track differently. Colleges and bigger organizations, big schools, big institutions, we always track only the things that will give value. My mark sheets did not have a place for my conferences, my mark sheets did not have a place for my presentations. And similarly, I am like 100% sure you're also going through something like that. The only thing that you have to do is start tracking the things that actually make sense to you. Even if it is something that the world is not seeing yet, start tracking those things. If it makes sense to you, it is actually growing you. So start thinking about all those things. And finally, script yourself, which is the most personal thing that actually helped me come out of depression. So, we always talk to ourselves all the time, but the only thing that we have to think about is, are we doing it on purpose? Are we doing it intentionally? My daily affirmation started with a very basic sentence. You have all the power in the world to do whatever you want. It started something like this. But today, I've brought it into a structure that will help me on a regular basis. So, this is what I have understood in, like the last few years. We always forget, or we always don't see all the small things happening in our life. We always see only the bigger milestones, and we don't even respect the small things that happen to us, on a Tuesday morning, on a Wednesday evening. We don't see that. If I ask you what was the conversation that you had with your friends this Tuesday morning, how many of you would be able to remember it? I don't think so. That is what I'm trying to say here. See, you're all going to succeed in life. There is no doubt about it. The only question that you have to ask is, are you capable of seeing the person you are actually becoming in all these days, in all the things that you are trying to do in life? So, with this, I would like to close my speech. Go find your Tuesdays. Check out the small things in your life. They are more important than you think. Thank you.